Hello, everyone. Today, we're diving into something bold, transformative, and yes, a little cathartic. Let's talk about reclaiming our power, setting ourselves free, and thriving despite those who seek to drain us. And we'll do it through a lens that's empowering, not vindictive, because real strength lies in living your truth unapologetically. Reclaiming your power is one of the most transformative acts of self-love and resilience you can undertake. When dealing with a narcissist, it's essential to recognize that their control over you relies heavily on your emotional dependence and willingness to engage in their games. Narcissists thrive on your reactions, your doubts, and your constant need for their validation. The first step in reclaiming your power is understanding that your emotional energy is a finite resource, and it belongs to you, not to someone else's manipulation or ego. This process begins with awareness. Start by paying attention to how interactions with the narcissist make you feel. Do you walk away feeling drained, small, or confused? These are red flags that signal manipulation. Recognizing these patterns allows you to take a step back and evaluate what's really happening. Instead of internalizing their criticism or questioning your worth, remind yourself that their words and actions are reflections of their insecurities, not truths about you. The moment you stop taking their behavior personally is the moment you begin to disarm them. One of the most powerful ways to reclaim your power is to detach emotionally. This doesn't mean you stop caring or become cold-hearted. It means you learn to separate their actions from your self-worth. A narcissist thrives on eliciting emotional responses because it gives them a sense of control. If they say something hurtful and you react with anger or despair, they've succeeded in pulling your strings. But what happens when you respond with calm indifference? When you choose not to engage in their drama, you shift the dynamic. Suddenly, they're left without the emotional fuel they need to maintain their control. Another crucial step is to focus on building a strong sense of self. Narcissists often prey on people who are empathetic and accommodating qualities that are beautiful but can be exploited when paired with shaky self-esteem. Take time to reflect on who you are outside of the narcissist's influence. What are your values, passions, and strengths? What makes you you? When you know your worth, you become less vulnerable to their attempts to diminish you. They may try to undermine your confidence or question your abilities, but a grounded sense of self makes those efforts ineffective. Mindfulness can be a powerful tool in this process. When you feel triggered or overwhelmed by the narcissist's behavior, pause and take a deep breath. Ground yourself in the present moment and remind yourself of your strength. You don't have to react immediately, and you don't have to engage. This pause creates space for you to choose a response that aligns with your values and preserves your peace. Reclaiming your power is not about winning a battle against the narcissist, it's about winning back your own life. It's about standing in your truth, refusing to be defined by someone else's insecurities, and embracing the freedom that comes with emotional independence. When you reclaim your power, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And that, more than anything, is what will truly disarm a narcissist. Boundaries are the foundation of self-respect and emotional well-being, especially when dealing with a narcissist. Narcissists are notorious for pushing limits, testing patience, and exploiting the absence of firm boundaries. To maintain your peace and protect your mental health, setting and enforcing boundaries is not just an option, it's a necessity. The key lies in understanding that boundaries are not about controlling someone else's behavior. They are about defining what you will and will not tolerate in your own life. One of the biggest misconceptions about boundaries is that they are selfish or mean-spirited. In truth, boundaries are acts of love for yourself and others. They clarify expectations, reduce misunderstandings, and create space for healthier interactions. When you set boundaries with a narcissist, you're not punishing them. You're simply preserving your energy and ensuring that their behavior doesn't harm you. This shift in perspective is empowering because it reframes boundaries as a proactive step towards self-care rather than a reaction to someone else's actions. The first step in establishing boundaries is getting clear about what you need. Take time to reflect on the areas where the narcissist's behavior has overstepped or caused harm. Do they frequently interrupt your personal time? Do they manipulate conversations to focus on themselves? Do they dismiss your feelings or opinions? Identifying these patterns helps you determine where boundaries are needed. Once you've identified the areas, articulate your boundaries clearly and concisely. For example, if the narcissist constantly calls you at inappropriate times, a boundary might be, I won't answer calls after 8 p.m. It's important to remember that boundaries are only effective if they are enforced consistently. Narcissists are skilled at testing limits to see if you'll hold firm. They may argue, guilt trip, or escalate their behavior to push you back into compliance. This is where your commitment to your own well-being is tested. Stand your ground calmly and confidently. If a boundary is crossed, follow through with the consequence you've set. For instance, if you've stated that you'll leave a conversation if it becomes disrespectful, do exactly that without hesitation. Enforcing boundaries requires courage, especially with someone who is accustomed to ignoring them. You might face resistance, anger, or even attempts to manipulate you into backing down. But remember, boundaries are not about the reaction, they're about your commitment to yourself. Each time you uphold a boundary, you send a powerful message to the narcissist and to yourself that your needs and well-being matter. Boundaries also teach the narcissist how to treat you. While they may never fully respect or understand your limits, they will come to realize that certain behaviors will not get the response they seek. Over time, this can shift the dynamics of the relationship, even if only slightly. Most importantly, boundaries free you from the exhausting cycle of trying to manage their emotions or reactions. Setting boundaries isn't easy, especially in the face of resistance, but it's a profound act of self-respect. By defining and enforcing what's acceptable in your life, you reclaim your sense of control and create a safer, more empowering space for yourself. Boundaries are not negotiable because your peace, dignity, and happiness are non-negotiable. Narcissists thrive on validation. Their sense of self-worth is often built on external reinforcement, whether it's admiration, attention, or the ability to provoke reactions from others. This makes validation one of their most powerful tools and one of their most vulnerable Achilles heels. When you stop playing into their need for validation, you effectively remove their ability to manipulate and control you. Refusing to participate in their validation games is not about withholding kindness, it's about refusing to be a pawn in their quest for power. The first step in breaking free from this dynamic is recognizing the game itself. Narcissists often seek validation in subtle and overt ways. They may fish for compliments, boast about their accomplishments, or frame themselves as victims to elicit your sympathy. At times, they may provoke you deliberately, seeking a reaction that reaffirms their sense of dominance or importance. By recognizing these behaviors for what they are, attempts to secure validation, you can begin to disengage emotionally and intellectually. Refusing validation games requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing the narcissist's behavior as personal, view it as a predictable pattern rooted in their insecurities. This understanding helps you detach from their provocations. For example, if a narcissist tries to bait you into an argument by making an inflammatory remark, resist the urge to respond defensively. Remember, your reaction is the validation they're seeking. By staying calm and composed, you deny them the satisfaction of controlling your emotions. Another way to step out of the validation cycle is to limit or neutralize your praise and attention. Narcissists often seek excessive affirmation to bolster their fragile ego. While it's natural to give compliments or acknowledge others' efforts, with a narcissist, this can feed their unhealthy need for constant approval. Instead, focus on being neutral and non-reactive. For example, if they boast about an achievement, respond with a polite but restrained acknowledgement like "that's interesting." This approach acknowledges their statement without indulging their need for grandiose validation. It's also crucial to protect your own need for validation. Narcissists are skilled at withholding approval, using it as a tool to keep you seeking their favor. They may criticize you, dismiss your achievements, or make you feel as though you're never enough. Recognize these tactics and remind yourself that your worth is not dependent on their opinion. Seek validation from within and from supportive, authentic relationships that uplift you instead of tearing you down. Refusing validation games doesn't mean cutting off all communication or being unkind. It means standing firm in your self-worth and refusing to play into manipulative dynamics. When you detach from their need for validation and stop seeking theirs, you shift the power balance. This can be disorienting for the narcissist, but it's liberating for you. It's a reminder that your value isn't tied to their perception, and your energy is better spent on people and pursuits that genuinely nourish you. Breaking free from these games is an act of courage and self-respect. It's a declaration that you refuse to be drawn into a cycle that prioritizes someone else's ego over your own peace. By stepping away, you reclaim your emotional autonomy and create space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. Rising above the drama is one of the most powerful strategies you can use when dealing with a narcissist. Narcissists thrive on chaos. They excel at creating conflict, stirring emotions, and drawing others into their whirlwind of manipulation. This is their playground where they feel in control and powerful. But when you choose not to engage, when you step away from the chaos they create, you remove their ability to control you. Rising above the drama is not about being passive or avoiding confrontation. It's about preserving your peace and refusing to let someone else dictate your emotional state. The first step in rising above the drama is recognizing it for what it is: a deliberate attempt to provoke a reaction. Narcissists often use tactics like triangulation, where they pit people against each other to create tension, or gaslighting, where they distort the truth to make you doubt your reality. These behaviors are designed to pull you into their web of control. When you understand that their actions are not about you, but about their need for power, it becomes easier to detach and respond with calm objectivity. Detachment is the cornerstone of rising above the drama. Detachment doesn't mean indifference or coldness. It means separating your emotions from the narcissist's provocations. Instead of reacting impulsively to their behavior, pause and take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does engaging in this conflict serve me? Most often the answer will be no. Choosing not to engage doesn't mean you're letting them win. It means you're choosing yourself over unnecessary turmoil. Another key to rising above the drama is maintaining emotional control. Narcissists are experts at pushing buttons and provoking reactions, knowing that an emotional outburst gives them the upper hand. When you respond with anger or defensiveness, you play directly into their hands. But when you remain calm and composed, you rob them of the satisfaction they seek. Practice grounding techniques like deep breathing or focusing on a calming thought to center yourself in moments of tension. Equally important is refusing to participate in the drama indirectly. Narcissists often try to pull others into their conflicts by gossiping, spreading rumors, or seeking allies in their disputes. Resist the urge to take sides or get involved in their games. Instead, maintain a position of neutrality and refuse to engage in conversations that perpetuate the chaos. This not only protects your peace, but also reinforces your boundaries. Rising above the drama also involves shifting your focus. Instead of being drawn into the narcissist's world of conflict, invest your energy in what truly matters to you. Pursue your passions, nurture supportive relationships, and prioritize your well-being. By redirecting your attention to the positive aspects of your life, you dilute the narcissist's influence over you. Rising above the drama is about reclaiming control over your emotional landscape. It's about refusing to let someone else's chaos dictate your peace. This choice doesn't just disarm the narcissist, it empowers you to live authentically, free from the constraints of their manipulative tactics. It's a declaration that your energy is too valuable to waste on unnecessary conflict, and that your peace is non-negotiable. Speaking truth to manipulation is a courageous act that disrupts a narcissist's power and reclaims your sense of agency. Narcissists often rely on subtle, insidious tactics to manipulate others, from distorting facts and twisting narratives to playing on guilt and fear. Their ultimate goal is control of the situation, the people involved, and most importantly, the truth. By confidently identifying and naming manipulation, you dismantle their facade at your own reality. This isn't about confrontation for the sake of it. It's about standing in your truth and refusing to be controlled by deceit. The first step in speaking truth to manipulation is recognizing the tactics being used against you. Narcissists are adept at gaslighting, where they make you question your perception of events, or guilt tripping, where they exploit your empathy to make you comply with their demands. They may also use flattery, blame shifting, or even outright lies to achieve their goals. Awareness is key. Pay attention to patterns of behavior that leave you feeling confused, doubting yourself, or pressured to act against your better judgment. These are often signs of manipulation. Once you've identified manipulation, the next step is to ground yourself in the facts. Narcissists thrive in the gray areas of uncertainty, where they can bend the truth to their advantage. Counteract is by being clear and specific about what you know to be true. For instance, if a narcissist denies saying something they clearly said, calmly state, "I remember you saying this on specific occasion." Avoid engaging in an emotional back and forth. Instead, stick to the facts and hold your ground. Speaking truth to manipulation also involves setting a firm tone of accountability. Narcissists often deflect responsibility for their actions, blaming others or minimizing their impact. When you confront manipulation, use I statements to express your perspective without giving them room to twist your words. For example, "I feel disrespected when you dismiss my concerns" is harder for them to distort than a general accusation like "you never listened to me." By anchoring your statements in your own experience, you remain in control of the narrative. It's important to stay calm and composed when speaking truth to manipulation. Narcissists often escalate their tactics when they sense they're losing control, attempting to provoke emotional reactions to regain the upper hand. Refuse to take the bait. Keep your tone measured, your responses concise, and your focus on the issue at hand. This not only disarms their attempts to derail the conversation, but also reinforces your own confidence and authority. Recognize that speaking truth to manipulation is as much about self-validation as it is about confronting the narcissist. They may deny, deflect, or dismiss your truth, but that doesn't diminish its value. You are not responsible for their reaction. You are responsible for honoring your own reality. Each time you name manipulation for what it is, you strengthen your sense of self and reclaim your power from their influence. Speaking truth to manipulation is a powerful act of resistance. It sends a clear message. You see through their tactics. You will not be controlled, and you value your integrity above their games. In standing firm, you protect your peace and build a foundation of strength that no manipulation can undermine. Thrive in silence is a strategy of profound strength and resilience when dealing with a narcissist. Narcissists often draw their power from chaos, confrontation, and the reactions they provoke in others. They thrive in environments where every word, action, or emotion becomes an opportunity to assert control or feed their ego. Choosing silence in these interactions is not about avoiding the problem or conceding. It's about reclaiming your peace and focusing on your own growth. Silence, when intentional, is not weakness, it is mastery over your emotions and your response to manipulation. Silence begins with understanding that not every provocation deserves a response. Narcissists often bait others into arguments or emotional outbursts because it validates their need for attention and power. When you refuse to engage, you take away their ability to manipulate you. For example, if a narcissist makes an inflammatory comment or tries to start a fight, responding only feeds their need for control. But when you choose silence, you leave them to wrestle with their own tactics. The lack of reaction forces them to confront an uncomfortable truth. They no longer hold sway over your emotions. Silence also creates a space for reflection and clarity. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to get caught up in the narcissist's web of manipulation, feeling pressured to respond immediately to defend yourself or correct their narrative. By choosing silence, you give yourself the time to step back, evaluate the situation, and decide how or if you want to respond. This pause allows you to act from a place of strength and intention rather than reacting out of frustration or fear. Thrive in silence doesn't mean suppressing your voice or avoiding conflict altogether. It means being selective about when and how you engage. Sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all. For instance, if a narcissist attempts to undermine you in front of others, staying calm and composed speaks volumes. Silence in such moments demonstrates confidence and self-control, while their behavior speaks for itself. You are not obligated to defend yourself against every accusation or manipulation, especially when doing so only fuels their agenda. Choosing silence is also a way to conserve your energy. Narcissists often thrive on drama and conflict, which can be emotionally exhausting for those around them. By disengaging from their antics, you free up your energy for what truly matters: your own well-being, goals, and relationships. Silence allows you to redirect your focus from their chaos to your own growth and happiness. Thriving in silence is about embodying strength and self-assurance. It's a way of saying, without words, that you refuse to be drawn into negativity or manipulation. This quiet confidence can be incredibly disarming to a narcissist who relies on your participation in their games to maintain control. When you no longer play along, you shift the power dynamic in your favor. Thriving in silence is an act of empowerment. It's a choice to prioritize your peace over their drama, to protect your energy, and to focus on your own growth. In that silence, you cultivate resilience, clarity, and the strength to live authentically on your terms. Celebrating your growth is a powerful and transformative act, especially after enduring the challenges of dealing with a narcissist. Growth often comes in subtle, quiet moments, choosing not to react to provocation, setting a boundary and holding firm, or finding peace in situations that once felt overwhelming. Acknowledging and celebrating these victories, no matter how small they may seem, is essential to reclaiming your sense of self and building a life rooted in authenticity and strength. When dealing with a narcissist, it's easy to focus on the difficulties and setbacks. Their behavior can create a cycle of self-doubt and frustration, leaving little room to notice how far you've come. But growth is often most apparent when viewed through the lens of your resilience. Each moment you choose yourself, every time you say no to manipulation, and each instance you prioritize your well-being over their chaos is a testament to your strength. Celebrating these moments reinforces your progress and reminds you of your ability to rise above their influence. Growth often begins with the small internal shifts that lead to profound change. Perhaps you've learned to pause and reflect before reacting to their provocations, or you've started to see their behavior as a reflection of their insecurities rather than a statement about your worth. These changes may seem minor, but they represent significant steps toward emotional freedom. Celebrating these moments helps to solidify them, making them a part of your new reality rather than fleeting victories. Another vital aspect of celebrating your growth is recognizing the boundaries you've established and upheld. Boundaries are not easy to create, especially with a narcissist who is adept at testing limits. Yet each boundary you enforce is a declaration of your value and self-respect. Take pride in the fact that you've created space for yourself, a space where their influence diminishes and your sense of self flourishes. This isn't just growth, it's transformation, and it deserves recognition. Celebrating your growth also means acknowledging the ways you've reclaimed your energy and focus. Narcissists often demand constant attention, leaving little room for you to invest in yourself. But as you detach and redirect your energy toward your passions, goals, and relationships, you begin to build a life that is fulfilling and meaningful. Take time to appreciate the new hobbies you've picked up, the relationships you've strengthened, or the personal milestones you've achieved. Each of these is a marker of the life you're creating, free from their shadow. Celebrating your growth is about embracing self-compassion and gratitude. Healing from the impact of a narcissist is not a linear journey, and there will be moments of struggle. But growth doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence and kindness toward yourself. Celebrate your resilience, your courage, and your capacity to move forward, even when the path feels challenging. In celebrating your growth, you shift the focus from what you've endured to what you've achieved. It's a reminder that you are not defined by the narcissist behavior, but by your ability to rise above it. This celebration is not just an act of acknowledgement. It's a commitment to continue evolving, thriving, and living a life that honors your strength and authenticity.